Hello, I'm Dr. Jamie, and today I'm going to tell you about the Veloce ANG. It is the certified revolution, right? Fully built aircraft, SLSA, under the new mosaic rules, and it is better than Cirrus in almost every spec for 1/3 of the price. So it's four-person and the SLSA fully factory built for you. You can use it exactly the same as a Cirrus, except for you can't do air taxi work. Get paid to transport people or products from one person to the one place to the next, but everything else that you can do in a Cirrus, including other hired work, you can do in the new SLSA planes under the new mosaic rules. Now if you want a 5-person plane, well, then you can do our build assist program or build it yourself, and as the experimental banner you can actually have 5 people on it. So it's type certificated under the SLSA, and it is literally one of the most amount of planes that you get for the least amount of money. So in other words, best value, right? It really is. So let me tell you about some of the numbers and things that really make it. So the premium barrier up until now has been that if you want to be, a fully built plane, you need to spend $100 million to prove to the FAA that your plane specifically is safe. While the new mosaic rules now say that if you just don't be an idiot and you build it to the current industry standards, then we're going to assume that it's safe because it probably is. Right? That's the beauty of the new mosaic rules. It actually uses a little bit of common sense and thinking to do that. And so now there's a whole new class of planes that can be made without that initial $100 million price tag entry point. And that's what allows us to sell it for a lot less than Cirrus and have better numbers and better specs than a Cirrus. So if you don't want that outdated 30-year-old technology, or you don't want to spend $1.5 million for modern technology, this is it. Right now you don't have to build it yourself anymore. You don't have to show up for build assist anymore. You still can if you want, but you don't have to, and that's the beauty of the new mosaic rules. Right, so it's a completely new regulatory framework. It's overcome all the resistance that the big Piper, Cirrus, Cessna, all those big companies, they didn't want this to pass because they knew that their 4-place market was not going to do well. Just like 20 years ago when the 2-place LSA rules passed, their 2-place markets didn't do well. Well, it's going to be the same thing, and that's why they fought it for 10 years. The only people who didn't want it were them, and every other human being on the planet wanted it, so it finally passed, right? Just goes to show you can't stifle progress forever, even with money. So what it means for you, it means you don't have to assemble, it means you don't have to wait forever, it means that insurance is now going to be easier. You literally just show up to the airport and fly, right? 450K nicely loaded, 520K fully loaded, and so that's where we get the 1/3 of the price of a Cirrus from, because a fully loaded Cirrus is over $1.6 million today. So it is absolutely amazing. We'll go through some of the products and options and things that you get, but if it comes as an option in a Cirrus, everything except for Autoland we have, and we have a few options that Cirrus doesn't have, like active turbulence cancellation and auto gear retraction, things like that. So what do? We do 181 knots at 10,000 feet, and we do that on 10 gallons an hour of auto gas. Now you can run 100 low lead in these engines, right? But they actually prefer 91 octane, 93 octane auto gas. So much cheaper. You can carry it to the airport if you really want. Some people have pickups and they put a fuel tank in the back and put in 60 gallons into the plane. So if you get the turboprop option, it can do 220 knots at 25,000 feet. That's burning 14 gallons of Jet A. With the turboprop option, that's from Apogee Jet. So that's one of the options that's available. You can go 1,100 nautical miles on that Rotax Edge Performance. You can get 1,200 to 1,800 pounds of useful load. The difference is experimental. Experimental gets you a lower G rating, but the G rating is still -1.5, +3. And let me tell you, to hundreds of hours in my Cirrus, I've never went over 1G really in that plane. The only time you're really doing that is acrobatics, and if you're not doing acrobatics, well, then 3Gs is plenty fine, and now you get 1,800 pounds of useful load if you do the build assist option or build it yourself at your place. So 43 knot stall speed despite the high speeds is absolutely amazing. That's the beauty of the system. So it's well under the 59 knots clean, according to the new mosaic standards, for both the plane and the sport pilot to be able to fly it. has got an 18-to-1 glide ratio, which is basically like an old-fashioned glider, right? They had those glide ranges. The reason why is this is the first real plane that was built and designed in a computer and wind tunnel tested to perfect it. And so that's why it really is just a really overall well-performing plane, right? 1,300 to 1,800 feet a minute to climb, depending on which engines you get. 120 to 300 pounds of luggage, depending on your configuration and setup of it. 52-inch wide cabin, which is wider than a Cirrus. You get 65 gallons of fuel, which gives you the range more than a Cirrus because the fuel burn on it is so low compared to a Cirrus. So you're literally using less fuel to go more distance. It's got a really short takeoff and landing. The takeoff range, again, depends on what engine you get. The landing is just around 500 feet. Doesn't matter which engine you have. So the reason why we're able to do this, the reason why all these numbers are so much better is because we use carbon fiber, right? So 35 years ago, Cirrus used fiberglass to outperform the metal planes. They got a lot lighter, and so with the same engine, they were able to go a lot faster, be more slick, be more aerodynamic. Well, we use carbon fiber instead of fiberglass, and so we're literally doing to Cirrus what they did to the metal plane industry 35 years ago, right? We're coming in at 1,000 pounds of empty weight with most of the options in it, 832 pounds, right, without all the options in it. So now all that extra power that we have that only has to lift 1,000 pounds goes into speed. Right, the retractable gear is one of the things that also makes it a lot faster for the lower amount of power and fuel burn, right? But you put all that stuff together, and that's why this plane is so uniquely different, right? So that's why we're 70% less than a Cirrus in price. We have 10% more speed than a Cirrus. We got 3-inch wider cabin. We got 40% less fuel burn, and we can run the cheaper fuel, and we can put Jet A engine onto it to run Jet A fuel on it, right? So it's got 20% more useful load. That's the EAB version. The SLSA version is about the same useful load, a little bit more, but still like not bad. So it's true for adult seating, right? That you can get out of the plane easily with baggage and fuel. And we have less fuel, so that's why even though our useful load is only a little bit more than Cirrus, why it's a true 4-person plane is because we got 25, 30 gallons of less fuel that you can put in baggage and people. So I did a cost summary. Again, if you want to see all the details of where all this came from, you can check out the website, and I list them all specifically. But basically, we are literally 1/3 the price of what it costs to own a Cirrus or other traditional certified aircraft. And if you resell the plane after 5 years, right, you are literally about 3 times less money to operate it over a 5-year period, including the sale price of the plane after you're done. And so there's just nothing that is more economical. So now, in the beginning, some people ask, oh, well, how much is your insurance? Yeah, our insurance right now is a little bit more than Cirrus, but even when you take that into account, you know, the fuel burn, the maintenance cost, the initial purchase price, everything else is less money other than insurance. So your overall cost to own and operate this plane over a 5-year period is way less than a Cirrus or any other certified plane. That's the beauty of Mosaic. Under the new rules, you can do all of the maintenance yourself, including the yearly annual with a short little 16-hour course. So the yearly maintenance can be done without the course, but if you want to do the yearly conditional inspection, the annual, then you take that course, and if you own the plane, you can do even the annual yourself. So you can save a ton of money that way because you don't have to buy a $5,000 alternator that's exactly the same as the $200 alternator down the street, right? So that's the beauty of it. Who am I? Right here, I've been talking for the last 10 minutes. Well, my name's Dr. Jamie, I said in the beginning, but I used to be a holistic medical doctor. And it drove me nuts when I would tell people, drink water, and they would say, oh, but then I have to go to the bathroom. And I would say, yeah, but half your problems will go away. Oh, but that's a lot of work. Yeah, but half your problems will go away, right? So I just got tired of it. I sold my practice. I was a little bit ahead of my time, I guess, because today's world, I could probably actually get enough patients who actually would say, oh, drink water, okay, and all the other things I said, and helped them with. But anyway, I went into manufacturing and selling medical equipment. I got 2 FDA clearances on those. I sold that company in 2021, and I said, hey, let's do the absolutely most dumbest, stupidest, insane thing ever and build an airplane, right? Smart of me, little did I know, and have no clue, no insight whatsoever about how difficult it actually was. But here I am. I made it. We got ANGs in the United States, five or six of them at the recording of this. 2 of them going to be flying in the next few weeks. So we'll be doing demo rides probably in January of next year, and I got money back guarantees that say, hey, you don't absolutely love how the ANG flies when you come for the demo ride, we'll give you all your money back. And I do the deposits on credit cards so that even if I'm full of hot air, which I'm not, but even if I were, you would still be protected by your credit card fraud. So plane's amazing. There's 8 of them flying in Europe. We're going to have the first ones here flying in the United States very shortly. And so if you're at all interested, right, let me tell you some more about the plane. Keep watching. So what I did is, back in the day I had a Turbo Cirrus and it wasn't fast enough. And I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to do something different, right? And in my process of building an airplane, the 600, that is now also SLSA, so we can fully factory build it as a 4-person plane with a twin non-pressurized, right? I discovered the ANG and I talked them into finally saying, hey, let's sell a couple kits, do a build assist, get some of these planes flying so when Mosaic passes, we can fully build them fully built. Well, we did that. Mosaic passed, and now we're selling them fully built. So we are the United States exclusive distributor, and we're proud to be that because it's such an amazing plane compared to so many other planes. So let's talk about some of those specs specifically, right? So some of our biggest competitors are RV10, Sling, and SR22. We don't have Sling on this page. We have Sling on our website, but almost all of our numbers beat all of the other planes, period. And again, the reason why is not because we are such an amazing company with new technology. We simply used carbon fiber, right? That is the biggest chunk of why our plane is so much better. Now, it's also so much better because, like I said earlier, we did all the design in modern computers and we did wind tunnel testing on top of it, right? But, a big chunk of it just is, hey, it's carbon fiber and efficiently designed, right? So the wing loading and the power loading is way better for us than anyone else. We got, like I said, we got 8 in Europe that are flying. We got 12 now ordered for the U.S., and we got 4 that are being prepped for delivery under the Mosaic rules in 2027 now as we start. So it's growing quickly, and as soon as I got that demo rides here, the prices are going to go up a bit, and demand is going to go up a bit, and the wait time to get one, I'm sure, for a little while is going to go up as we increase production of the factory, produce more of the parts to produce more of the kits. So right now we're in North America. There's a Europe dealer as well. I got Australia. We're going to be putting a plane there soon as well, and more locations coming in 2026, including Brazil, Argentina, and India. So we're growing super, super quick, producing more and more planes, expanding production more and more with every single order. All the profits right now are going into getting more and more factory space and more people trained to build more planes quicker. So some of the specs and features, right, our price, lead time, number of seats. You can see when you start comparing it to all of them. And again, we have full comparisons on our website. You simply go to our comparisons page, you choose any of the planes that are on there, and we'll give you a side-by-side comparison of all the specs of our plane to their plane. And we've got a lot of planes on that comparison page. So, some more of the data, again, I'm not going to go through and read every one of these to you, but you can see that, a reason why the stall speed is so low, like a Cessna 182, is because our wing loading is so low, like a Cessna 182, right? So, that's part of the issue, or sort of the issue with, the higher the wing loading, the higher the stall is going to be. It's just how planes work, right? But since our plane is so light, made out of carbon fiber, right, it gives us a really low wing loading, even though we can still go super fast with that same wing. Again, more specs. I'm not going to go into them all, but what you're going to see when you go to our website to compare them to anybody else, including a Sling or whoever, doesn't matter, is that yes, maybe like the RV10, right? The RV10 is going to have a shorter takeoff and a shorter landing than us, but that's it. Every other number we have is better than an RV10, right? So, and again, Cirrus, yeah, technically they can go to 25,000 feet, and we can only go to 23,000 feet with the Rotax. Well, okay, who really ever goes up to 23,000 feet ever? Almost no one, right? So very few people is that a number that's relevant to, right? But at the end of the day, what about all the other numbers of Cirrus, right? We beat the specs on almost all of them, right? And that's the way it is with every plane. Sure, every once in a while you might have a plane here or there that beats us on 1 or 2 specs, but we beat almost every plane and almost every spec, period. And we do it, right, for a lot less money than almost all those other planes as well. So comparisons of, the biggest reason why I talked about it before is empty weight, right? Carbon fiber, super light, super strong. So even though we're only 2,000 pounds maximum weight under the SLSA, right? We got less fuel that we need to carry, 65 gallons, to get the same distance as other people. And so our true useful load is a lot more than these numbers at 1251 that are still better than most of these other planes, right? Because you don't need as much fuel, right? A DA62, right? Even though they're 1,600 pounds of useful load, you take a full tanks out of that, we still have more useful load, right? I should put that number on the slide actually, right? Full tanks of all the other planes' useful load compared to our useful load. Now our numbers are way better. But anyway, so options are, right, if you get the nicely loaded, you get the 915 included in the price. If you get the fully loaded, you get the 918, which is the 916 Rotax engine that's been upgraded with a bigger turbo to get a little bit more boost to get that extra 20 horsepower. So it's really inexpensive to get that. That's why we put it in the fully loaded option. But if you don't want that, that's fine. We can also just get you the 916 too. Or you can get the Apogee Jet 230 horsepower for only about 35K more than those pricing. So what is Apogee? Right, it's an unmatched power to weight engine, 230 horsepower for 188 pounds. Nothing else does that, right? They got multiple engines. They took an old design that was fairly well and had many flying planes back in the day, and then they improved upon it to make it amazing now. And now they got several of the new engines flying. We're going to be testing one as well, and it's just turbine performance. The 5,000 hour projected TBO, and it's going to make this little ANG cruise at 200 knots at 10,000 feet, or if you go up to altitude, you're probably going to be able to get about 220 knots, burning 14 gallons an hour of Jet A, 75% power. So super amazing engine. Right now with ANG, you get the paint schemes of your choice. Right, again, we're going to be going to set standard paint schemes that you're going to pick from, but right now you give us a bunch of pictures and we're going to make your plane look like that. So that's the beauty of being an early adopter as well. Custom leather interior, also two-tone, one-tone, your choice. Double stitching if you want, right? Interior, walls, ceiling. We got panel pieces that do it. We wrap the leather around and then we put those pieces in so it looks just as good fit and finish as Cirrus or any other certified plane does. We got advanced avionics. Dine-in is standard. Garmin is an upgrade, but 2 screens, autopilot, 2 radios, auto panel, ADBS in and out, IFR. Everything's included in the basic. If you want to upgrade to Avidyne or Garmin 750 or 650, it's a little bit more money, but it's there as an option as well. So nicely loaded configuration. You get the parachute standard, you get electric air conditioning, you get the turbulence cancellation system as an option if you want for a little bit more, de-icing for a little bit more, emergency glides automatically included, right? That's our 450K option. It has most of the stuff that a $1.2, $1.3 million Cirrus is going to have. Right, and if you want the fully loaded option, right, that's everything except for the avionics upgrades or the and it includes doesn't include the Apogee jet engine. Sorry. So yeah, so the fully loaded 517 right now is the Edge Performance 918 Rotax engine, parachute standard, electric AC is standard, turbulence cancellation is standard, de-ice is standard, emergency glide is standard, right? Almost everything you would get in a $1.6 million Cirrus, except for you don't get auto land, right? Again, it's something that we're working on. It's going to be a few years before we get it, but we're, like I said, right now we're doing all the other components first, which is the automatic gear, the automatic flaps, the automatic engine control management, right? Power control. So we're putting all those pieces together, and then in a few years we'll get it integrated into our own Autoline system that piggybacks off of any of the other equipment out there. So what does it take if you want to get one of these planes? Well, it takes a $97K deposit. Again, I do that on credit card. When we actually start building your plane, you're going to owe another $75K. And right now at the recording of this, that is about 5 months out. So you'd be paying 4 or 5 months out before you pay the next $75K. When the plane is ready to ship, depending on which options you chose and where that is, you'll get another $75 to $100K. Right now, that would be around July or August at the recording of this. So that's about 9 months out. And so the months are probably going to be about the same until we get production up. And then when the plane actually arrives, you're going to start making 50 to 75, 25K monthly payments, right, for like 6, 7 months as we're actually building it, until the plane is paid for with the final 20,000 paid at delivery. So that's kind of how the payment program goes. So over the next 18 months, you're paying that all down, and it's pretty evenly spaced out ish as we go through and produce results in the build process. So some of the questions that people commonly ask, I'll address them here real quick. Is this really type certificated? Yeah. Under the new mosaic rules, you can use it in flight schools. You can use it for flight training. You can use it for aerial photography work to get paid. You can use it for, multiple different things. Again, like I said earlier, the only thing you can't use it for, compared to a Cirrus, is you can't do an air taxi or air transport of cargo material stuff for hire to be paid like an air taxi. All right. So everything else, though, you can still use it just like a Cirrus. Support is any road tax dealer can do support on the engine all around the world or the US, and there's lots of them, right? The plane itself is a composite plane, and so anybody who understands composites can do repairs and maintenance on the plane. And under the new mosaic laws, like I said, if you're the owner, you can do everything on that plane, including the yearly annual with the 16-hour course, but all the maintenance you can do even without the 16-hour course. So who's going to be the support? Well, we've got great manuals on our website for not only building, but we got great manuals for the pilot operation handbook. We've got great manuals for how to do the yearly annual. We've got great manuals for how to do the daily inspections, right? So we've already thought of everything that you need to look for and put it into a manual for you. So that's the beauty of the system. And everyone thinks, oh, but there's got to be a catch. And really the only thing is right now, right, wait times are 16 to 18 months if you place an order today. Once the demo flies, I'm sure that wait time is going to go to at least 2 years, if not more. We got lots of people on the list waiting to do a demo here in the US, which will be happening very shortly. So how are we able to get this price 1/3 the price of a Cirrus, but be better than Cirrus in almost every spec? And it's really simple, is that Cirrus could sell their planes for $500K too. The difference is they're recouping their $100 million cost that they used to certify their plane in the purchase price. Well, since we don't have that $100 million price tag to certify ours, well, then we pass those savings on to the customer in the SLSA fully built planes. So right now, at the time of recording this, if you're seeing this right now, we're selling M15 is the next one we're selling here in the United States. That's Mosaic, the 15th one that we're going to be building in the States. 97K deposit, and you get lots of bonuses with it. Some of these bonuses are going to be going away when the demo flies as well. So you get 25 hours of flight training in Whiteville or Wisconsin or Pompano Beach, depending on where we build your plane. You get $15,000 in free upgrades right now. You get a fully refundable deposit with money back guarantees in the contract and strong credit card fraud protection all on top of it, right? So, and then at the very end, let's say that you don't love the plane, we aren't able to make it right for you. Well, you know what? Then we just sell it and we give you your money back. So it's not a huge risk. It's almost no risk in all reality with the credit card fraud and the money back guarantees. In fact, technically it is risk, other than I run to Bahamas and nobody ever sees me again, which isn't going to happen. I got family here and I got a 25-year history of helping to make customers happy with what I do. All right, like I said, the last year has been a little bit of a struggle because everyone was delivering to me late, but I finally dealt with most of those issues. Now getting back on time with my contracts and my customers and making everything right like I've always done my entire life. So if you're at all interested, contact me. That's my personal email address, my personal cell phone. Call me, text me, go to the website, right? See more about it. Come visit us in Whiteville, North Carolina, and soon we're going to be having one of our completion centers in Waupaca, Wisconsin. So you can come visit us at either location, actually. And if you want to do a virtual tour, we can do a FaceTime or Zoom tour of the shop. You can see the planes we're working on, the prototype 600 that we're building, right? So you can see all that stuff as well without actually having to come travel to us. So if you're ready to join the aviation revolution that this Veloce ANG is giving the world, let me know, give me a call, come see us, and most importantly, if you're at all interested, let's get you a deposit, get you in line so you can get your plane sooner than later. So thanks for listening, and make your day awesome.